Alright, now you know the basics of creating these automations, but let's say that we want to build something a little more impressive. And this is usually also the things that you'll be selling to clients. For example, let's imagine that a client that you're working with, they have 5 support reps that are answering emails all day long. And you want to automate, let's say, our goal is 60% of that. So all of the questions that are the ones that are asked all the time, that an AI can literally just answer those questions almost instantly. We can also build a full AI agent system like this inside of our dashboards. The great thing about this is that it is custom code. It means that there are literally no boundaries. We can build whatever we want. So I'm going to go back into Claude Code. I'm again going to tell it to read the structure of this full AI system, then return back to me. Use sub-agents, understand how it works, hit enter, it will gather all of the context that it needs, and then it's going to come right back. Great, it returns back after 2 minutes and has all the context. Then we can write, I want to build another more advanced automation. This should be a full AI support email ticket response system that can respond to around 60% of all emails. In this automation, I want the front end to show the AI responses. I want it to show if any has been escalated. I want to be able to upload a full knowledge base, so it should use RAG to search through it and answer questions based on this knowledge base. It's getting a little more advanced here, but luckily we do have Claude that can build out all of this for us. We will use Composio to answer the emails using Gmail. I want to trigger the trigger.dev every 10 minutes to check for new emails and then respond to every single one that has come in. If the ticket requires human attention, we should be able to escalate it and see the escalated emails in the front end and be able to respond to them from within the front end as well. I also want to be able to see the AI responses inside the front end too. Let's see if there's anything else that we need. Let's plan this out. Please use the superpower skill and ask me if you have any questions. Let's fire away that prompt, and you can see it's going to load the superpower skill and ask us any questions if it needs more context. We can all of a sudden start building some really cool advanced stuff based on the current structure that we have. How should the AI reply, behave for the 60% it's confident about? It should also send immediately. Of course, if you're building this out for a client, you would of course have talked with the client and asked how it should do it, but we're going to auto send immediately. What format will the knowledge base come in? Let's do PDF files. Let's actually just do text files. That is a lot easier. Well, we can actually turn on all of them. Submit the answers. Where should we store the vector embeddings for RAG? We could use something like Pinecone or Postgres, but we actually already have vector search inside of MongoDB, so let's use that. Let's do if any human asks for like low confidence from AI, angry tone and refund, and let's also do specific clarifiers like this, submit. You can see it's asking all of the right questions that it needs in order to build out this plan. Which email account does this monitor reply from? One shared inbox, yes. And there we go. Now you can see it's exploring the project to get context, and then it's going to ask a couple of clarifying questions, come with a couple of approaches, and then design the plan for building this out. How should we identify a ticket? What groups emails together? A Gmail thread is one ticket. That sounds good. When you escalate and reply from the front end, should the AI help draft the human reply? Yep. If we can get AI to pre-draft the reply but just not send, I think that could be pretty cool. Where do we store tickets, messages, KB chunks, and embeddings? Reuse existing MongoDB. Let's do that. Anything important I should add to the spec? Beginning the reply. Per ticket tags, labels, analytics view. Could do an analytics view and a per ticket tag. Submit this. Submit the answers. Got it. Enough to design. Let me present it in sections. Confirm after each. Section 1. This is this. That sounds good. Then it's going to use trigger.dev to poll every single 10 minutes. This also looks good. There we go. That was all of the sections. And now it's saying writing out the spec docs now. That's probably going to take a couple of minutes. Now we have the full design spec, which looks good. So I'm going to tell it to continue. Now it's going to use this design spec to build out the entire plan so it can build this out. It's going to ask us if we want to use sub-agent driven or inline execution. We definitely want to use sub-agent to speed it up. This means that different agents are going to be working on different tasks. You can see I dispatch a fresh sub-agent per task, review between tasks, fast iteration. Usually the fastest and also what's recommended in this superpower skill. So now it's going to use the sub-agent driven development, loaded this superpower skill, and now it's going to build out this entire thing for us based on our instructions. This will probably take a bit to build out because it is a pretty extensive AI system that we are building now. There we go. The next thing we need to do is that we need to go in and get our MongoDB secret, this one right here. Then we need to go to our production trigger.dev, go inside of environmental variables, click add new, click on production. Make sure that we have added both the MongoDB URI and the DB name, click save, and there we go. Now I'm going to write, we need this to update on prod trigger.dev so it will work. Can we please do that? Hit enter, and now it's going to push the changes it has made to our backend. It's going to push those trigger.dev so everything will run smoothly. All right, there we go. If I now spin up the server, you can see on localhost 3000, we now have another automation that's called AI support. And here we have a couple of tabs for escalated support request, AI replied, human replied, and all. We also have this analytics tab right here that shows us how many tickets we have. And we have this knowledge base tab where we can either paste text into the knowledge base, we can add PDFs or URLs. Let's see if this actually works. I can take our Shiney.ai website, for example, paste this in, click add to knowledge base. It is processing now. Let's see if it actually works. It says error though, so this didn't work for some reason. Let's try and see if we can fix this. I tried to add knowledge base, but ran into this issue. Can you check what happened? In the meantime, let's try and check the other things like paste text. If I just like copy this entire page and paste it in right here, add to knowledge base and call it basic info. Let's see if it wants to add this. But then give it a refresh again. Still says failed. So there's obviously something wrong with the knowledge base, but Cloud should, of course, be able to fix this. Now I see why it fails. We need an OpenAI API key. So I'm going to set this value as well inside our environmental value right here at the end, OpenAI API key. And then I'm going to go to platform.openai.com, log in with my Google account. Let's just call it AI system, create the secret key, copy it, paste it in right here. And then we also need to go into trigger.dev inside of the environmental variables here, click add new and add it here too. Let's do a refresh of this right here, go to support. We're actually getting emails now that is escalated to us. No emails has been replied to yet. Let's try and add the knowledge base once again, copy our entire website right here, paste it in, call it basic info, add to knowledge base. Now it is processing, refresh, still processing now, so it didn't fail instantly. That's good. Let's delete these others while we are at it. And there we go. Now it says ready. So if we go back to inbox, we can see it has no subject line right now. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this in and say, that seems to work. Issue now is that the subject lines don't show, even though we do have subject lines. Can you fix, please? Hit enter. And then hopefully it can fix this subject line not showing. But this is an actual email from my inbox, which is kind of cool. Same with this one. This is also an actual email. So it's actually fetching the emails, which is kind of cool. And it is escalating them. Great. I think I also want to add a refresh button somewhere on this page. So I'm going to give it this page right here and say, can we add a refresh button here as well that triggers the polling, please? That way we can also do it manually just to get all the newest ones. And there we have it. Now we have a little poll inbox button right here. If we poll it, it says refreshing just like this. And then it shows us if we have any new emails in our inbox. So let's actually try it. Let me go on this email account right here, write to my personal email right here. Basically write, what does Shiney.ai do? We can basically just ask, hi, saw your website. What is it that Shiney.ai does? We can click send. And now I receive my email inside of my inbox. Let's see if we also receive it or if we hit a little polling right here. For some reason, it doesn't show. Maybe it's because it's under AI replied. Check the latest poll. I ran it after sending an email to myself to check it, but the email doesn't show up. Why is that? Check the latest logs. Let's see if I can figure out what happened. There we go. The issue was apparently that I clicked in on it, so it became red. Of course, we only want to take the unread emails. So yeah, the system is actually working like it's intended. Cool, but it's still being escalated. So we need to fix some prompting, I think. I can write, see this email. It's a simple question, and we have it in our knowledge base. Why did it get escalated? Hit enter and see what it says. All right, this was another one of these issues where it wasn't really an issue. I just had to refresh. But now I've added auto refreshes every 30 seconds inside of this tab. And if we go to AI replied and we click in on this, we can actually see, hey, saw your website, blah, blah, blah. And then the AI actually replied with this. Hi, thanks for reaching out. Shiney.ai helps businesses boost sales. It's using the information that it got from the website. And if we click why this reply, we can even see the confidence score of how smart it thinks it was. We can see the citations that it used from our knowledge base. This is extremely cool and it works. So now we basically have an AI inside of our support email that can reply to questions. When this confidence score isn't as high, it's going to put it in the escalator tab so we can reply to it. I hope you start to see the power of these insane automations and agent systems that you can all build inside of your own kind of dashboard right here and provide to a client. And the great thing is that as you build these systems out, you could then sell this support inbox to another client, and it wouldn't really take you that much work to set it up with a new knowledge base on a new client. And the crazy thing is the amount that you could sell this for. If you sold this to a big company, you could probably charge anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on how big the team is. Because think about it, right now their support rep is probably being paid maybe like $2,000 a month. If it's in the US, then probably $3,000 to $4,000 a month. So if a team has, let's say, 10 support reps and all of a sudden they only need 5, you're saving them 5 times, let's say $3,000. That's $15,000 a month you're saving them. And if you're charging $5,000, you're still saving them $10,000 a month. And this is just one of the automation systems that you can build out. You can automate all processes inside of a business, smack all of these automations here on the left-hand side, and you have a killer product. And you can manage all of this with Cloud Code. What I'll do is that I will take the code for this entire dashboard right here with the trigger.dev backend. So these folders right here, AI system and AI system backend. I'm also going to take the Cityscape website so you have that as well as reference. And I'm going to put the GitHub repos right below this video. The last thing I want to do is that I want to host the front end. Right now we are still on localhost 3000. The backend is hosted on the cloud.trigger.dev, but the front end isn't hosted yet. And it's honestly quite easy to do. It's the exact same thing we did with the other website. We just open Vibecode.com and click add new project. Then we want to push this to GitHub. So I'm going to say, I want to push only the front end. So only this AI system folder right here, that's the front end, not the back end, only the front end, to GitHub. Then we're going to open a new tab. We're going to go to github.com. We're going to create a new repo. I'm going to call it AI system front end. We're going to make this private. Create repository, then we can copy the link right here. We can paste it in and say push to this repo. You won't be able to do this in auto mode, so I'm going to set it to just like the default mode. Hit enter, and then we will have to accept the commands. It's asking us what to push. I'm going to ask it, I want to push this to separate repo so I can host the front end. So only the AI system. Standard push, it's empty, brand new, and then we push it. Something that I always like to do is that I write, of course, don't push any secrets, etc. Just so we don't push any of these secrets to GitHub for security. Always good to remind Claude not to do that. Sometimes it gets ahead of itself. It is running all of these commands. We'll just let it do that. There we go. Created a little mini plan for itself. Now it's going to push this front-end repo to GitHub. There we go. Now it is pushed. If we go onto GitHub, then hit enter. Now you can see we have all of the files inside of here. Let's host that by going to Vecell, copying this GitHub repo, pasting it in, clicking deploy, it's going to see that it's a Next.js application right here. Click deploy again, and let's see if we have any build errors. See, we already have a build error. So what I'll do is that I'm going to copy this. Better thing to do actually is to go inside of here where we are running it. And then instead of npm run dev, we can write npm run build, which is going to show us all of the build errors inside of this folder. You can see it compiled successfully, running TypeScript. This actually built successfully. So I'm not sure what this error is. So let's copy this, paste it in, and say, when I try and host on Vasil, I get this. Why? The frontend installed MongoDB 7, but PMs if we install both, Vasil doesn't pass legacy by default. So clean fixes are going to downgrade MongoDB 6. Let's do what it recommends. There we go. It pushed the changes to GitHub. So let's try and deploy it again. We can just click deploy once more. And now we should not get this error again. You can see it passed the first 10 seconds, which was where we had an error before. And there we go. Congratulations, you now deployed a project. Let's continue to dashboard. We get this domain right here that we can go to. And you can see this will now be the login screen right here, which will only allow us to sign in with a Shiny domain. So I'm going to write my email, click send magic link, and we see something went wrong, which is because we don't have our environmental variables yet. So go inside of here, and then we need to fill out all of the environmental variables, click add, pasting in all of these, click save, and do a little redeploy like this. This will take another minute or so, and then it will deploy it. Let's click right here, view deployment, look at logs right here, build logs to see if it deploys like it should. There we go, build completed. If we then give it a refresh and write in our email, now it should work. I can see right here that it's going to localhost, and that's because I forgot to change one of the environmental variables. So let's go to next auth URL right here. You can see we're going to be using this URL instead. Paste this in, click save, and click redeploy. Right now we're using this domain right here, which is the domain that Vasil gives us. But you probably want to add your own domain when you set up an AI system like this. The way you do that is that you just go inside of Vasil again, go down to domains, and then just click add existing, and you can write in whatever domain you want and connect it using DNS. If you have any issues with that, then you can just ask Claude. After you've changed the domain, then it's very important that you go inside of the environmental variables, just like I forgot to do now, and change this next auth URL to be the URL where your app is running. If you don't do that, you're going to run into the same issue that we just did before. Now it's deployed once again. Let's hit enter, write in Albert at Shiney.ai. Now it is sending the magic auth URL, and now we are in, and we have our AI support, we have our AI send invoice, we have our start onboarding, we have all of the processes that we built just before. There we go. Now you've deployed an AI system that could be for a client.